We're going to talk about one of the quickest and easiest ways for you to crop and edit an image for your blog or website, or for any other purpose for that matter. So I've already found a picture that I want to use for a blog post from Pixabay.com, and I already know also what the final dimensions that I want this image to be to fit the blog post. It's going to be a featured image, and the featured image size is 890 by 400 pixels. Just every featured image fits the same size on the blog. So I'm going to click download here, and it is a public domain image. License is Creative Commons 0, and I already know that the pixel dimensions are going to be 890 by 400. So this first one is going to be too small. If I choose this, I'm probably going to I will end up having to stretch this image, and it's going to get blurry and pixelated. The second one would be technically big enough, but it's not going to give us a whole lot of flexibility if I only want to use part of this image. So I'm going to go as big as possible for this image. The last one, however, I do need to have, you have to have an account on Pixabay to download the last one. I believe it's a free account, but I don't have one, so I'm just going to do the 1920 option. Instead of clicking download, I'm going to actually right click this and choose where I want to save this. It's going to save me a step instead of moving it from my downloads folder later. If you're on a Mac, that's a control click, I believe. And I've already made a folder on the desktop called Images, and I'm going to save it there. And next step, we're going to go to our online photo editor, Fotor.com, Fotor.com. And I'll choose Edit. Already opening the folder that I created. Okay, there's two methods that we can use here for this crop. This tutorial is not going to be about all these other options, although you do have a lot of options on Fotor for enhancing the photo or changing it to whatever you'd like it to be. So the first method is, if I want to use most of this photo, I'm going to do this method and just resize the photo to about the size, a little bit bigger, but about the size of what I want the final dimensions to be. So instead of going 890, I'm going to just bump it up to 900 here. I have keep proportions on so that it doesn't get all stretched and wacky. And we'll hit apply, and then I'm going to hit crop, choose 890 by 400, and drag this to exactly the spot I want it to be. Hit apply, and we can click save. I'm going to choose highest for quality here, and we'll just save this as horse cropped 1. Okay, now let's take a look at the other method. I'm going to just click the basic edits button here to go back where we were, and then here we'll click original and go back to the original photo. So let's say I wanted to use just a part of this image, maybe a close-up of the mane and the horse's head. And this is why we chose an image that was a higher resolution than our final image. With this method, I'm going to choose crop first instead of resize first, and choose the dimensions we want, 890 by 400, and I don't have keep proportions checked so that I can choose exactly the proportions I want for this, for the crop. And we'll drag it right here. Like I said, I wanted to get the horse's head and the mane for this shot, just for this tutorial. And it feels like it's just a little bit too close. So I'm going to click back up here to undo that last crop. And this isn't our original image. Let's just go right back to the original too. Okay, we'll hit crop. I'm going to do the same thing again this time though, 890 by 400. I've got my proportions now, and now I'm going to check keep proportions, and this is going to let me drag this while maintaining that 890 by 400 proportion window. Now, let's say I didn't have that checked, and I originally had this at 800 by 940, 890 by 400, and I want to drag this. It's not going to maintain those proportions to 890, 400, so we do have to have that checked. Okay, we'll start over one more time. Okay, that's the proportion I need in the end. I'm going to click Keep Proportion and drag this to exactly what I want that final image to be. I'm going to put this kind of line between the ear and the eye right on this thirds mark to keep with maintaining that rule of thirds in photography. I'm not worried about these numbers because I'm going to resize it after this. I'm just concerned that the proportions are the same as 890 by 400, the proportions I had originally chosen. I'm going to hit Apply. Feels a little bit high. I'd like to move this down a little bit, but that's okay. We'll just go with it for now. Click Resize, and now it's important that we maintain these proportions again. And go 890 by... okay, interesting that somehow it didn't exactly maintain our original proportion. So in order to keep this at least 400, I don't want it to be any less, or I might get a white bar on my web page. It'd be better to be a pixel or two too big. So I'll just go 891, and then we have the at least 400 there. I'll hit Apply, and let's just see if the size is what we need for the site, and it is 891 by 400. Okay, so we're ready to save this one. I'll hit Save. Again, we'll choose the highest option, and now we have horse cropped 2. So to sum up, that was 2 methods for how to resize and crop an image to use on your website or blog. And the order that we did for these 2, if you wanted to do the full image, the easiest way was to resize the image to about the size you wanted and then hit crop. If you wanted to do just a portion of the image, the best way was to click crop, figure out your proportions, make it a little bit bigger, and choose the spot you wanted, and then resize the image down to your cropped field. Hope it's been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks.